Hey everybody, I am just sitting on my bed with my wife, Stacy. She's eating pickles. She's the whole package, you know. Anyway, this is like what, 5 p.m. on a Thursday? What else is there to do but make a YouTube video? Let's just do this. I decided that I was going to rank all of the sketches, not that I've been in, but all the sketches that I've written since I've been in Studio C, or all the sketches that I've written that you guys have seen, because I've written a lot of things that have not made the cut, so that's fine. Some things to note in this ranking. It is only from seasons 8, when I first got on, through season 13, which is currently what's out. I have written some things for seasons 14, 15, and 16, but it'll be a while since, you know, be a while for you guys to see that. Also, I'm just ranking based on the script, not on the acting, not on, how things look. There are so many people that make the sketches what they are, and I don't think that would be fair to judge what they did on it, but I think it's totally fine to judge what I did with the script. Okay? So without further ado, let's start this ranking. Okay, first up is the Pardon the Intrusion series, and this one ended up being, I think, 4 different sketches, but I'm just going to count it as one. I had a lot of fun doing it, and it was cool that we were able to do 4 different sketches in one day, but I don't know how well they turned out as standalone sketches, so that's why it's on the bottom. All right, next, the Lord of the Rings parody, You Have My Sword. That's one that I loved, all the costumes. I think the wardrobe killed it. Just in terms of the script, though, I don't know if it was just enough to do a list, and maybe I should have changed it up towards the end of the sketch. The Lollipop Caper. This is one that Arvin did such a good job on. We actually did a standing ovation for him. But in terms of my script that I gave, it was in a rough spot, and I had to give it to Ike so he could fix it up before Arvin did it. The Wizard of Dr. Oz. I loved this premise, but I should have just given more time on it. Looking back, I just wish that I put more jokes in it. That's one that needed a lot of jokes, and it was kind of empty. So that was my one regret on that. Bro, do you even vegan? This is one that I think Aaron did a great job on it, and I think he looked great for the part. But looking back, I think it was kind of like a cliche thing that I did, and the joke had been kind of overdone. So lifeguarding, not for the faint of heart. This is another premise that I really loved, but when we were in the editing room, there were a lot of things that were like, maybe this feels a little slow, and we had to change it in the edit, and I just wish that I had changed it during the script writing process. Science class dissection. I wonder if there wasn't enough of a premise there. Like, a lot of people watched it and were like, what was that? But I did still like that it was really quick and quippy, so that's something I liked. Dad driving test. Arvin killed this one again. But when I was writing it, I felt like, am I just making a list of things that dads do? And it's not like if there's not enough soul in it. So I still wonder about that, and then maybe I'm just being self-conscious about it. Who's been eating our food? That is one that people are like, is that fat shaming? So I think a lot of people don't like it for that reason, but it's something that I resonate with. So I still enjoy it for that reason. It feels close to home. Scary sports drink side effects. This was such a short sketch, and I think I wrote a first draft, and they were like, let's just leave it as is. And I always wondered if I should have added more to it. Decisions with the President. This, along with a lot of other sketches that I wrote, are the science class dissection, was just we didn't have a premise. We just gave each other a first line and see what happens. So that's another one that's is there really a premise here? But I really kind of like that it's nothing. Also, I really like that I just get to look like a grumpy child. So that's the main reason that I like it, is I like looking like a grumpy child. The Newlywed Show. I have a lot of tender feelings towards this sketch. It was a premise that I had in my mind for a long time. The reason I don't have it higher up is because we had to change it for production reasons. Initially, the ending, I was just so excited. We were going to zoom out to someone watching TV, zoom out to another person watching TV, zoom out to the writer's room, zoom out to... So it was going to be super weird and meta, but obviously it wasn't on the budget, so I was a little disappointed by that. Barbs and Rhonda. Ultimately, this is just I don't know. I don't think it did super well, but it's a tender spot in my heart for it. Me and Stacy were doing those voices for such a long time. Those characters were so fun. And even before, when I was doing a Divine Comedy, Matt Moen and I from that group, we were doing those voices forever, and that's how we made that sketch initially. So I am always going to be biased towards that one. Batman versus Superman, Justice Friends. This I wrote for Divine Comedy like right when Batman versus Superman came out, and by the time it like was released in Studio C, it was so irrelevant. So I really liked the script, but it was like, why did you do it so late? And now I know that like you can't be super relevant with your scripts. Okay, I don't think this one is out on YouTube yet, but it is. It has been released on the episodes, and this is a Guy Fieri sequel sketch where they do a lot of food puns, and there's an imposter. I I think it's really dumb and silly, but I do like the Guy Fieri voice, and I like stupid food puns. There, I said it. Little Red Riding Hood is too honest. This one took me forever to write. I think it was in my drafts for like over a year. But like once it was all done, I was just really happy with it, and I love the kind of like innocent kind of bad guy characters. So I like that. TSA check. I probably would have written it maybe a little bit differently if I had a little more experience, but it was one of my early ones, and I think it did pretty well. So I always have a soft spot for that one. How the Grinch hijacked the holidays. Um, my one regret with this one is I should have put in more like visual gags for it, but I was so focused on the meter and the rhyming and stuff. But I just loved the doing meter and rhyme in a script. That was a lot of fun to do. Office Splash Zone. I did not mean to steal any kind of Jason doing spit take kind of things, but and just like I ended up writing it in like 30 minutes one day, and it just got a lot of mileage out of it. So I love a good physical gag kind of thing, and being the butt of a joke is always fun. Caesar is a cool boss. That's another one that took me forever to write. But I love the idea of like I love doing kind of characters that are trying to be too cool. And I just love doing history kind of things, and just like putting that kind of stuff in there. So that's cool. Hansel and Gretel, what really happened? Um, this was a peas in a pod sketch, so that means like two characters kind of playing off each other. And I want to do more of those. I really like having characters that are just able to like build energy off of each other. Rudolph Goes to Court. I was just really proud of how many jokes we were able to put in there. So even if you didn't like all the jokes, I feel like there was enough jokes for everyone to have something. Promposal is one of my favorites that I've ever written. It's just so many visual gags all put together, and I love doing those kind of things. Yeah. This is another one that I don't think has been on YouTube yet, but it's the guy that's thinks it's such a novel idea to start a podcast. I think this is a very common problem with people my age, so I was really glad to like make a really thematic like I'm changing the world by doing something everyone does kind of thing. Also not on YouTube, but it's Slapping Executioner, and I really like that it's kind of at least mostly a silent sketch. And it was just a really silly thing, and actually I genuinely am slapping Ike the whole time. He was a trooper. Monster Under the Bed featuring Pitbull. This was the first sketch that I had written that made it onto the Studio C YouTube page, so I was just so excited about it. And I really loved the script. The only thing I will admit, after it was made, I found that SNL did a similar one, but I think I made a better script than they did. There, I said it. Baseball talk. This, I was just so excited that it ended up working out. It just feels like a really different kind of sketch. And even if it's not something that like makes you laugh out loud the whole time, I love that it just feels different. Like not talking at all and just feeling the silence the whole time, I thought was like pretty rad. And finally, the top spot. Brrr, thank you. A real boy with real problems. I love the premise of this one where just Pinocchio gains 10 pounds every time he lies. And there was a time in an earlier draft that I didn't think I had figured out like a great ending for it. But once we figured out that like this is just a lie detector test for conspiracy theories in the world, that's my favorite ending that I've ever written. So And I think, I want to say Jeremy helped with that ending. A lot of people did. But I just love that one. Anyway, I think that's almost all of them that I have written so far that have been seen in one form or another. I realize now that I missed. I don't think this ever made it onto YouTube, but it was on the episodes. It's where Abe Lincoln is on Say Yes to the Dress, and he can't tell a lie, so he's being a real diva about it. I would say that's upper middle for me. It's another history one. I love history stuff. You know, I'm a sucker for that. So anyway, that's the list. I hope you guys liked it. If you guys want more list things, I'm thinking about maybe doing more. I'm making a list of like my top, like my favorite Studio C sketches to watch or whatever. So let me know if you guys want that. Anyway, love you guys. See ya.